All right, stand by. We're going live in 5, 4, 3, 2. You're hot.
We hot. All right, welcome to Soscast, episode 33. Special guest in the house, Ali Sadiq in the house from Houston.
What's good?
What's good? We got Marcelo Hernandez. You might recognize this gentleman usually on that side of the table, but he heard Ali's here. He says, I want to be in the big boy seat. How you guys feeling?
I'm doing good. I am amazed at this imagery right now.
Yeah.
It in no disrespect, totally all in love. This is the
Yeah, explain what you're looking at because the crowd, I don't know if the crowd sees it, if they can show this.
Hopefully if they do.
Yeah.
It's like
This is my headshot right here. Go ahead, go in on it.
But the whole background and the whole scene gives me remember the Asian guy who used to be on the infomercials with the yachts and the money is saying like, yo, you can do this overnight and and like it's like I need a 1-800 number under there that I can call and you can give me financial advice.
Oh, it's about to happen, Ali. It's about to happen.
It just seemed like some girls on a yacht is gonna come in that water in a minute.
Fuck yeah, they are.
He's like, do you understand?
Thank you.
You could have these girls in the yacht and a pit bull.
By the way, this is the only show I've ever done since being in this studio that a female has not been on. So just be honored that it's a bros show right now.
Oh, it's
because there's usually me and some females talking money, lifestyle, relationships. So that's what we're about here.
What made you change it up for me?
This guy.
I would trade him for a hot something else.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Ali, I'm right there with you, bro. But I respect.
You're a great co-host. Doing me like this.
This is me right
There
now.
you go.
You wanted the money.
Adam Sosnick.
I'll show you the money.
This is the sauce. We should change the logo of the show.
There it is. I'll take it.
Of the show.
What's that guy's name again?
Tom Vu.
Tom Vu. Is he in jail yet or no?
He definitely is overseas somewhere.
Look at him today. There he is.
Look at him today. Just gambling in Milan.
His last life.
He does make a great point though. For somebody that's supposed to do a show about financial literacy and responsibility, you do have a stack of hundreds on your ear.
Well, it's ironic because
this is who you should listen to about your money.
When I first started my show, I'm a big hip hop guy. I'm from Miami. Like I was raised on Uncle Luke. People think that's crazy. And as I started to make money, I started to do my show. I started seeing all these knuckleheads on Instagram, like the Lil Pumps of the world, and and this is what they did. And I remember going, and I said, we have to have fun with this. And I did a million different pictures in a photo shoot.
You put money on.
I was everywhere with them. I went to the bank.
I held money.
I went to the bank. Money. I went there at 9 a.m. I pulled out 50 grand cash. 50 grand cash. Brought it home with me, did a photo shoot, all this, money on the ear, made it rain, the whole thing. And then at 4 o'clock before the bank closed, I redeposited $50,000 and I used it for my photo shoot. Save that money.
Your $50,000.
It was mine, correct. Okay. So if you listen to some of the advice from Tony Wu and your boy Adam Sauce over here, you could be doing that.
Tom Wu. What a great way to start this episode.
Yeah, why does he look like he looked like a smaller version of Bo from what's the when Van Damme was in Bloodsport?
Yes,
he's like a smaller version of him.
He does. He does. Pull up Bloodsport if you can, Tyler.
What do he look like? What does Bo look like right now? He look like Tommy Vu.
Tommy Vu, Bloodsport, Asian guy. There he is. Yeah, there he is. That's his little brother.
That's Tommy Vu before he got into the money financing thing.
Anyway.
Oh my God.
I appreciate that. I that might have been a dig. It might have been.
It wasn't a dig. I'm just sitting. I'm looking at this like, man.
Ali, we're good.
He's supposed to have some women on here with a yacht.
Yes.
And the money to the ear. Whatever he sell, I'm buying it.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate that.
Look, I didn't buy anything from Tommy Vu. but I think I bought that bathing suit, one of them bathing suits for somebody. Amazing. I didn't buy anything from him, but I bought that bathing suit.
The Where Are They Now episode. Is that Bobby Lee right there? That's incredible. That's incredible.
That's a deep fake, too.
Bobby Lou is Tommy Vu 90s infomercial deep fake. It's incredible.
Because they should have done that one, but they didn't. This is a deep fake. Somebody just put his face on it.
But Tommy Vu is not in jail currently.
No.
I don't know. You're very obsessed with his current legal.
Well, I just, you made it out to be like a fraudster. Anyway, Can we find out a little bit more about you and get into this thing, or you want to? I mean, I don't want to talk about my photo shoot all day. We can.
Let's do it.
But look, you've been a working comic for what? 25 years now.
24.
24 years, and you've been what? Def Comedy Jam, Comic View, Just for Laughs in Montreal. Been on Comedy Central. You said you've worked with D.L. Hughley. Yeah. Bill Bellamy for many years, right? You're currently based out of Houston. I believe you co-host a radio show.
Always been based out of Houston. I'm on Magic 102, Radio 1
there it is.
From 2 to 6. Me and Uncle Funky Larry Jones on the ride.
Funky Larry Jones.
48 years in radio.
Wow. Is Mike Jones still out there in Houston?
I have no idea.
You don't remember Mike Jones?
I do remember.
Mike Jones, the one you can't clone.
You asked me, that's two different questions.
Yeah, that's true.
You asked me, was he still in Houston? I said,
we're going rapid fire with this.
Sorry. I was in 2 of his videos. Yes, I know.
You were in 2 of his videos?
Yes.
What was the phone number that he asked everybody to call?
I don't remember his phone
1-800-284. Call Mike Jones up on the low. I don't know. I just made that up. It could be right, could be wrong. But
that's definitely wrong. It's definitely wrong. It's definitely wrong.
Anyway, Ali Siddiq, Marcelo Hernandez in the show. We're going to have some fun today. We're going to talk a little bit of everything. We're going to talk what it's like to be a comedian, what's it like kind of being a young up-and-coming comedian, maybe advice from a OG in the game, 24 years, I believe you said.
I don't give young comics advice anymore.
Right. So you're not getting any advice. I apologize for that.
Nobody does. Like when you learn early on, you ask everybody, like when I first started, I played sports. So early on, I was like, yo, everybody, yo, what's up, bro? What moves can I do? What's you're an athlete. Like you think it's like a sport. But every good comedian I ever asked for advice from said the same thing, which is get on stage.
Got it.
So,
all right.
So he's...
And we do that very general because I guarantee you everybody you asked that told you to get on stage is burnt out with the whole talking to young comics because they don't listen. And then I won't even say anybody is bad anymore. Like if you bombing, I'm like, you great, man. Because people have taken the power away from all that bullshit about no gatekeepers. Man, that's some bullshit. Like you need some people to regulate how the artistry of a craft goes. Mm-hmm. Like it's like you would be pissed if what's your favorite team?
What sport?
Any sport.
Call it the Dolphins. The Miami Heat. The Miami Heat's my favorite team.
Okay. You would be pissed if I got drafted #1 right now at 48 years old for goddamn Miami.
Yo,
then I'm like,
although I heard you were the MVP 2 times in the 40 and over league.
Yeah, that's the 40 and over league. But if you draft me right now,
I'd be pissed.
You would be pissed.
I'd be very pissed.
I'm like, hey.
So what's the analogy there?
Don't stop me from living my dream. Yeah.
What's the analogy there, though?
That everybody thinks that everybody is good, but it's definitely lanes to it and how you get into something, man. You would be pissed if you had the draft and they drafted me. I'm like, yo,
no.
And I'm like, yo, y'all know I'm starting, right?
Sorry, Kyle Lowry, you're gonna have to sit this one out.
Horrible, right? He's horribly slow. I'm like, but I'm nice though.
No, not at all.
Oh, you trying to stop my hustle?
Right.
You hating?
Right. Right.
And then I get out there and blow my knee out, and y'all gotta pay me $88 million for the next 4 years. I'm like, yeah. You
Chandler
see that?
Parsons.
Man, people are weird.
All right,
man.
So we're not gonna draft you. Did you catch that one?
Of course.
So,
yeah.
Look, your story is actually pretty freaking incredible, and I want to get to it.
Which story? Which part?
Your story about how you went to jail.
See,
you were 19 years old. I'm setting you up for success here, brother. Give me a minute, because I'm going to share something with you.
Go ahead, I'm listening.
Bigger than bar. You were arrested at 19. You served, I think, 6 out of a 15 years prison, and then when you went back 20 years later to perform in front of inmates, and I watched your special, and the first 2 minutes you said something that I said, holy shit, there it is right there. And that's what I kind of want to frame this entire conversation. You said, after returning for 20 years, the key is patience. The key to anything that I talk about is patience. You talked about trying to get, the Tony Booth thing. People want to get rich overnight. Yes. People want to have success overnight. People want to buy Dogecoin and become a Dogecoin millionaire. It doesn't work that way.
Don't hate on Doge, bro.
It doesn't work that way. Marcelo is actually one of the few young people I respect because he says, I don't want to blow up right now. I want to pay my dues. I have patience. I'm willing to,
I would blow up right now, though, if anybody. I'm down.
However, you have said this expressly, like, I'm not trying to get rich quick in the comedy scene.
No, it doesn't really work for stand up.
Okay.
The whole get rich quick thing. It's a longer, the two pieces of advice: get on stage and also be patient, because it's, it takes 8, 10, 15 years to get something really,
Right. And he's been doing, but here's my question to you. The key is patience. A lot of people that are watching this show, entrepreneurs, young hustlers, people that are trying to get rich, maybe not necessarily quick, but they're trying to get rich. Something that I talk about that is, I'm 41 years old. It took me until I was about 30 to, quote unquote, have money. But I put in the work, and I've been working pretty, doing things are all right. And I talk about not being a day trader, but being a decade trader. So my question to you is, your mindset must have shifted being in prison and being a comedian. I want to know, like, short-term goals, what they were that ended you in prison versus what your long-term, financial, meaningful gratification is these days after being, in jail versus being out of jail, short-term versus long-term. How are you processing this?
So you asked the question, my short-term goal that got me in prison.
Yeah. Well, how short-term versus long-term has changed?
I don't think that I didn't have a goal when I was in the street hustling. It was that's an endless goal. Like, it wasn't a set amount of money I wanted to make, or I didn't have I'm gonna do this for this amount of time. I'm gonna do it until I'm tired of doing it, or until I get busted, or until somebody kill me. That was the mindset.
There was no game plan. It was just wake up and hustle.
I don't think any. And let me frame this, because I when I talk, I've learned to put it in the proper era. See, because it's different eras of the game. So in my era, I started selling dope in 1987. So in 87, I don't have a end game for this. Now if I would have went past 19, if I would have been in my 20s selling dope, I probably would have had, I want to make this and then get out this. But this is, I'm 19. I'm 14, 15, 16, 17. Man, I'm just making the money, and it wasn't continuous. Like, I sold, then I stopped, and then at 16 is really when it went crazy for me. Like, I'm a real street dope boy with a lot of bread, and I'm 16 years old. Mm-hmm. So when you 17 and you got about $400,000 and you 17 years old, and don't nobody even know that you have this money, and you riding around in a 79 Monte Carlo with $30,000-$40,000 in the trunk at all times, I don't have any end goals. Like, my boys went to school.
The end goal, he reaches, when you start in that game, I feel like if you're good, you reach the end goal pretty quick. Like, you start to make decent money, right?
Yeah, nah,
and that's a good question, too.
That's a patient thing, too. It's
exactly,
like,
that's the question, yeah.
You start off hustling. Like, I heard, when I listen to people talk about anything that I've been a part of, whether going to prison, whether doing a special, I don't care what it is. If I know the process of it, I just listen and be like this. Oh, wow, that's pretty quick, to do it. But the era. So New Jack City came out in 1991.
Wesley Snipes.
Just think, I've been selling dope in 1987.
Wow.
So I wasn't influenced by New Jack City. And
Nino Brown.
They didn't have, in the movie, they didn't have a goal. They just selling. Just like with Frank Lucas and Frank Matthews. Frank Matthews was like, he's the only drug dealer that never got caught. And he was a part of the French Connection. So, not Frank Lucas, Frank Matthews, two different people. He didn't have an end goal. Like, there's no end goal in the drug game. And when I hear people say, well, I was going to do this to get this, I was like, what age were you that you had this wherewithal to.
Right.
I'm still trying to figure out how to get away from the cops.
So ultimately, there was no end in sight. There was no game plan. There was no goal. It was just wake up and grind.
The police had the end game. Like one of these days, we're going to catch him and stop him.
So how has that changed now? Like you must have. Like I heard you say something like you're actually talking with Rogan, and you said, "Look, I want to do everything cool. Everything in my life that I've ever wanted to do, I want to do it cool." And you mentioned. Do you have a son? What do you have?
Yeah, I have several children.
Okay, gotcha. At the time, you had mentioned that you just want your kids to be well-rounded. I don't know if you had.
Yes, I want all my kids to be well-rounded. My oldest son is 28. My oldest daughter is 23. My 23-year-old is definitely a well-rounded, successful young woman who's, she's a chef. So I didn't, whatever aspirations I had for her changed during the course of her growing. So I've come accustomed to changing things. Things change around you all the time. As a comic, I'm definitely more patient in the process. I remember when I used to be frustrated about the process, and I'm not saying that it's bad to be angry about things, because most of my success, which quote unquote is whatever people perceive as success, it has come off of me being mad about something. I've never succeeded from a happy space. And I would want to, be in just some happy-go-lucky mood, and then something lands on my table. I'm like, let's do it.
You're saying that you've found success only being in an angry space? Is that what you're saying? Being mad about something?
I've achieved success.
Yes.
Only being upset about something.
And why do you think that is?
I've never succeeded in a happy state. Is a very funny idea to think about too. But I feel you. It's like annoyed, right? Like annoyed, bothered.
No, like angry. I'm not annoyed. I'm angry about the shit that's happening.
Explain that, because one of the things I always say, Ali, is your comfort zone will kill you. I found myself being very comfortable at age 35. I was quote unquote chilling. Had money. Had a girl, living in a high rise in Miami. I was chilling. I was good. No one was challenging me, and I became stagnant. And only until I got out of my comfort zone, moved to freaking Dallas, teamed up with this operation, got like a little 1-bedroom, nothing ass shack. I'm angry. What the fuck am I doing in Dallas here, grinding? I left my girl, and I got angry, and because of that, one door closed, another open. I was angry, and it's turned into like what we got going on here. So I do understand getting out of your comfort zone. So is that essentially what you're saying about being mad when that takes you to another level? Break that down.
No, the thing is this. It's the situation. I remember when I got out of prison, the guard said he'd see me again.
Oh, right.
And I was like, who is he talking to? Like, that's what you think?
Like sarcastically, or
that's what he said.
He's like, no, I'll see you soon.
I can't. This is what I never do. I don't assume how somebody sings. I just listen to what they saying.
Mm-hmm.
Like the statement is, I will see you again. I don't care if he was saying it nice. Okay, the statement is the words that I'm listening to.
You took the words
I
at
will
face
see
value.
you again. That means he think that I'm coming back to prison. That's clear. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, oh, okay. If that's what you think. And the anger, but it's not, my anger is never misplaced energy. Like I place the energy so now my focus is, I'll show you that you'll see me again, but you won't see me in this place. You'll see me in a successful place.
Yeah, you'll see me on TV.
Not even knowing if it was going to be TV or not, but you will see me again. When you see me, it will be from a successful space. I hope you remember that shit you said.
How many years ago was that story? Did that happen?
When I got out of prison in 1997.
So that still motivates you. Like you don't just like randomly think like that's the story. You reach out and that's in your bucket, ready to go.
No, it's several. Anytime anybody puts me in a box and thinks that's why I'm at, I'm like, oh, okay. And you're not gonna be a good father. Whatever the statement is, like, I remember a guy told me that he was, as a stand-up, that he was the same as me. I was like, I was like, how so? He's like, man, I've done everything you've done. And in my mind, I'm like, you fucking crazy. Like, you nowhere close to me. And I'm a person who never say any of my accolades because I don't care about them. That those are things that was done in the past, that when people come see you, they want to see you right now. Mm-hmm. But for somebody to say, and this is a new guy. This is a new guy. And that's how I think about these youngsters. You do something on Instagram or YouTube and whatever, you got 4 or 5 years in the game and you think that you the same as me? Okay. I'll show you better than I can tell you.
Yeah.
What you want to do? You want me to go first or you want to go first? Because you can go first and do an hour. I come out and do one story and people forget that you was there. That's just this. It's like if somebody tell me that LA comics are better than Houston comics or New York comics are better than Houston comics, and I'd be like, really, what? All it takes is me to hear it and disagree with him. Like, well, let's see. If you challenge me in a basketball game and you think in your mind that I can't play because I'm 5'7", okay. If you block my 3-pointer, I want to see that shit. Mm-hmm. Anything. If you I see these gloves up there. Anybody challenge me in that ring, they gonna have a problem.
We're gonna throw some hands with them.
They gonna have a problem.
Let me ask you. So you're a pretty competitive guy.
Yes.
You're a pretty competitive guy.
Former athlete.
For a soccer player, ball player. I used to play ball. It almost sounds like you use the negativity and turn it into a positive.
Yeah. I misplaced that energy. I take that energy and place it in the right space.
You've seen The Last Dance with Michael Jordan, the whole document.
Yeah.
Remember the time when his old point guard BJ Armstrong, they beat him one game. He was playing with Charlotte, I believe, at the time. Yeah. And he got the best of Michael Jordan. BJ Armstrong, who was a nice little player, nice little point guard, nowhere near a Hall of Fame type career. They beat the Bulls in game 1, and he kind of gave a little what's up to Jordan at the end. And Jordan, and he did this numerous times, he told himself a story that BJ said, I'm better than you. BJ Armstrong never said that. But Michael Jordan told everybody, yeah, BJ Armstrong thinks he's better than me. I'm going to show him. And then proceeded to destroy him. Jordan would make up stories to drive him nuts, to feed the madness, because he was someone that was motivated by madness. And essentially, he would take that madness and take that negativity and turn it into a positivity. Essentially, the same thing you're saying. You're not going to be a good father. I'll see you again soon. I'm better than you. I'll show you. Just wait and see. That's how I'm kind of hearing what you're saying. Yeah,
I totally understand, Mike. I understand any competitor because you put things in your own head to. You could have said. Somebody could have said nice set to me one time. I'll never get to do that. Man, you had a nice set. And in my mind, I took that shit all the way like, what?
Yeah.
Like, man, who are you talking to? And we still have we have another show. We have another show. And he's hosting. And then I'm not gonna say who's headlining, but the headliner said, why you say that? And he said, well, I just told him he had a nice set. Oh, now you just made this shit hard for me. Because he's going to go out. And I did. I went out, and I got a standing ovation the next set. And I'm like, yeah, that was a nice set, wasn't it? Like
what was it?
He's like it's not even that people make him angry. It's that even if you give him a compliment, he will twist it.
Got it.
So that he can use it. Just like Jordan.
But it's like he said it with some like it was unusual. Like I was out there doing
That's you. That's your competitive mind. That's you. That's you. You said what? Like it's unusual. You know what you did? You did the whole baby, you look great today. Oh, just today? That's what you did. That's what you did to this poor dude.
Oh, so it's today.
What is it about today? You know what I mean? Is it the what? Is it the weather?
Yeah. What's today? Oh, I washed my face today like no other day.
Yeah. Man. What made this one nice, Mr. Host? What was it about this one that got you going. Really. Like I come out, that's something that I can see a basketball player do it too. He comes out of a game. Hey man, you had a great game. And you surprised? You
it's
know
like,
what I mean?
just imagine if you say that to Jordan. Jordan like, what you mean? What are you talking about? But it's the same. Like, it's not just me. I run, right? So on the track, it's this lady. This is one white lady. It's like every time I see her ponytail, it gets me going. What? And so, because the way she run, it's like she run with this authority, like she a bad motherfucker. And I'm like, okay, because on the track, this is what I do when I'm running on the track. So I know I'm gonna do like 3 or 4 miles, and these people that's on this track are not running against me. They don't even know I'm out here. But I get in this mode like you in front of me, and I don't give you a half a mile from me. I got to catch you. I'm like, I'm finna run her ass down. And
I just lapped her twice. Let me run her down.
This white lady, I ran past her, and all I did was this. I ran past, and I just threw the peace sign. And
she's on a treadmill?
No, she's on the track.
She's
on
a public track that is not
outside.
Competitive at all.
Minding her own goddamn business.
Yeah, she's
minding
just
her own business. I run fast. I just throw the peace sign to her, right? And I tell you, now I hit the corner and I'm gone. I'm literally gone.
Yeah.
That's the first mile. First mile. By the second mile, this lady has ran past me and she threw up.
She threw the deuces your way.
And that lady, I didn't see her no more. Like when I was done, on the side, like I did like 4 miles. I'm on the side, and she does like 2 more miles. I see this lady. She do 2 more miles, and she comes by me by my truck. She said, "I'm glad you decided to throw up the peace sign, cause that pissed me off."
Hell yeah!
Like
she needs the same fuel to the fire like you.
And she said, "You ran past me," and I said, does he know that I run marathons for like in her own mind? Does he know I run marathons? And she does. And I said the next time I saw that lady, Houston had a 5K or something they was running, and she was coming through the ribbon with her. She's like,
oh no,
she won it.
I was like, damn,
that's what's called playing with the wrong person. That's playing with the wrong person.
But the thing is, it's not just me.
Yeah.
No.
This is not supposed to make anybody mad. This is the peace sign.
Yeah. But there's some context there. It is. I'm out. You're still in it.
You gave me the peace sign.
Let me ask you.
And I took that personally.
What motivates you, bro? Because I don't think your same motivation as him. I don't think that your motivation is similar to his. Is it?
No. I'm motivated by like my mom. You know what I mean? Like the aggressive energy of like a immigrant parent is kind of what drives me, I think.
What's the difference?
I think that, I think everybody's driven probably by that. He's talking about kind of his mental operating state, which is a little different.
You got an immigrant mother who every immigrant only believes in traditional jobs.
Right.
So you're doing anything outside of traditional job, you're wasting your time.
True.
You're going to be, what is this? What is this thing you're doing?
Like the Indian parent, the complex, or the Asian parent. They want them to be a doctor. They want them to be a scientist, what have you. No, I want to be a comedian.
Right. And every parent wants that.
And you motivated by the image of you succeeding in something non-traditional and being successful in it. It's the same exact motivation.
For sure.
You think my mother...
What are those 4 motivators Pat always talks about? You have that? Can you pull that up?
You think my mother... my mother never thought that comedy was the way for me. Like, and when I tell people this, and people think that you can't believe that. I'm like, I never got any support from anybody around me.
Right.
Because everybody thought that it should be something else. I should be doing something else. So just think of now how that fueled me to, like, this thing, I live in Houston. People told me I had to move to LA or New York to be successful.
Right.
So it's just more fuel. Oh, you got to get out of here. Like, man, who are y'all talking to? Like, you talking to a person that you think I'm regular? So because other people couldn't do it, I can't do it. Right. Are you losing your goddamn mind? Like, it's the thought. It's the same. My mother And everybody who I know, you cannot find one person that said, we thought it was gonna do it. You know who thought I could do it? A guy named Rick that was in when I was in prison. Cause I told him, he said, man, what you gonna do when you get out? I was like, man, I think I'm gonna lean towards doing stand-up.
You knew that in prison?
Yeah.
Okay, but that was not your goal when you were that landed you in prison.
Man, what?
Meaning, you were the funny guy in prison?
It's a bunch of funny people in prison.
Right.
Okay. What does that mean?
Some would say that most of the funny people are in prison.
What does that mean? Like the funny guy in prison. What does that mean?
No, I'm asking. You said you knew that while you were in prison, you knew you were going to be a stand-up comedian.
I was a sarcastically humorous dude. If people look at my stand-up now, I'm not the funny dude now.
No.
I'm the thoughtful, humorous dude now. But I always ask because I don't know what people mean by the funny person in prison, because people have a lie or something from a movie embedded in their head that never happened. So I remember this. I was on this radio show, and this guy asked me, "So were you the funny guy in prison so people wouldn't mess with you?" And I immediately looked at him like, "Man, who the fuck is you talking to?" And then I asked. I said, "If I was 6'4" and I started in prison, would you ask me that question? Because what make you think that being funny in prison would gain you some sort of protection? And then I said, because you fucking thinking about a movie, some shit you heard on House Party that wasn't true. Richard Pryor never went to prison. So no, he wasn't in prison making jokes so people wouldn't fuck with him, because he never went to prison. That's a movie shit. So I tell people, I said, so you thought I was in the streets being some weak motherfucker before I had to get funny in prison to protect myself? I got security now, and it's not for me. It's for the people. He'll tell anybody that. I'm with him so he won't fuck y'all up. And that's the honest to God truth. I'm like, when people ask me shit, like, man, who you talking to? Because if anybody know anything about me or even seen anything about me, I'm one of the most dangerous fucking people walking around. Just because I've never started a fight. I've never started any altercation, but I finished a lot of them because people say some disrespectful shit to me. I'm like, man, who the fuck you talking to?
Mm-hmm. What motivates you?
It's the same mentality that I had in prison. It's like if we was in prison and you asked that question, it'd be prisoners be like, yo.
Yeah.
This not the one for that.
Right.
When I did Bigger Than These Bars in prison, it was people who, it's an officer named Woods that you'll see him in the side corner. He knows the story that it was a guy that challenged me in there. And I said, well,
while you were in there performing, you're saying?
I said, well, where you want to go? What cell you want to go to? And I'm going to take my suit jacket off, and only one of us are going to come out this cell. So all that slick shit you talking, let's make it happen. And then all of a sudden, man, I'm just fucking around with you. But I'm not fucking around, though. So you think I'm not, you think you slid that slick shit and it's like, it's over? Oh man, I'm just, man, you in here performing. Don't try to give me no goddamn I'm in here performing because you said the slick shit first. So let me address it. I'm a cat that went into prison at 19. I was 135 pounds and I was 5'7" then. I'm 157 pounds now and I'm still 5'7". And when people address me a certain way, I'm like, you do know, like, I still get down. So me being humorously sarcastic while I was in prison had nothing to do with protection. Nothing. So when the people ask me, was you the funny dude? I'm like, that's why I always ask what that means.
Right.
Because I want people to understand whatever you think or whatever that means in your head, it's too many people. It's too many people that'll give a disclaimer to be like, hey.
Can I ask you a question?
Uh-huh.
Why? And I appreciate you like full on breaking it down how it works that way. I feel like everyone has something that they rely upon. Like, you're a funny guy. You're a comedian. I was a comedian for many years. I did it because I had some serious issues at my home going on, right? And I used it to kind of deflect from family issues. So if someone asked me, oh, so you're the funny guy in class, I'd be like, well, yeah, man, actually I am. And I did it because I was dealing with some serious shit that was going on back at home. So I almost think it's kind of natural why someone would say, well, why were you the funny guy? Why were you, so it's a question that probably comes up from time to time. But your response is like, you don't know who I am.
No, and you also don't know. You also don't know prison, right? So it's like, you say, were you the funny guy in prison? I feel like it's treating prison as if it was a high school and it's like a yearbook thing. Like, I think it's just a lot more serious, and that's I think something that a lot of people need to understand, because I find, and I have I've met a couple of people that have come out of prison and dealing with like that world. It's important to understand that, number one, when like that life that he has in there, or that they had in there, that past that they had in there, is a very serious time, Mm-hmm. So people ask about it very candidly, I bet too, right? They go, yo, so what do you do for fun in there? Or like, yo, what's the, you know what I mean? Like,
this is the reason why, because people take this place because of the Orange Is the New Black and all these desensitized shows. They take this place, and because of that house party thing gives a bad taste to anybody who wants to come out of that place and be different.
What do you mean? What's the house party thing? You're talking about the movie?
That's what people got that being funny can protect you thing from.
Got it. That was a Richard Pryor movie, you're saying?
No, it's a movie. It's the house party movie, but the inside, when Kid
and Play movie from the 80s. Got it. I'm right there with you.
So when Kid is in jail,
mm-hmm.
and this old man says, man, what he says, what I'm supposed to do? He said, well, Richard Pryor, he said when he was in jail. You remember the scene? He said when he was in jail, he used to be funny to keep the inmates thinking about it. And that permeates in people's head more than anything else, because they've seen that scene. So how people think about prison, and anybody who does something out, they never ask the person who came out of prison that became a lawyer, were you in there helping people with cases so they wouldn't,
Got it. Makes sense. Makes sense.
Was you in there tattooing so they wouldn't, that's the
and I think on a bigger thing, something that's really dope that I want you to talk a little bit more about is like, yo, Orange Is the New Black, Prison Break, that movie, like even movies like The Longest Yard, you know what I mean? Like
all of that, it's
some bullshit. Clearly,
it's not like Oz. Like people used to think Oz was real.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be like, man, you do know none of this shit happens, man. I said, when you see a real prison show, let me tell you what a real prison show is gonna show you.
Yeah,
they're gonna always do a count time. They're gonna do a count, because why wouldn't you? It's the number one thing that happens in prison.
What's a count time? What is that?
They count the inmates.
Got it.
Because that's how they get paid.
Every day, you're saying?
Of course,
they
count you 5, 6, 7, 8 times a day. Like you get counted every shift twice. So you got 3 shifts.
You're saying
if 6 counts.
If you're saying if you were building a show, that would be a major part of it.
Yeah, it has to, because it's like showing prison with no bars. The bars are there.
The count time. Got it.
So the count time has to happen.
Yo.
What are the other key elements if you were building out a show?
And not even, yeah,
the count time.
That count time is huge, but also the things that people don't realize. What else? Like day-to-day shit. Because I think it's so funny how like you have no clue. Like you got counted 6 times a day.
Yes, you have to give your spin number. You never hear anybody giving their spin number on a prison show. Like, if you hear inmate 75433, they not gonna call out the number. They gonna say your name. You gotta say your number. You have to say your number. It's like when I hear people talk about, oh, I was in prison a long time, and I'm like, well, what's your spin number? Or what's your inmate number? Oh man, I don't remember it. Bullshit. Bullshit.
That's tattooed in your memory if you've been
It's
there.
great.
Got it.
I know that number better than I know my social security number.
Really?
This is a number that I've tried to forget. I've tried to forget this number.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember one time I thought I did. I was so goddamn happy. I thought I was like, I forgot the number. And then I was like, oh shit. No, I didn't.
You were trying your best.
I'll try my best.
I want to circle back to something,
Yeah,
Ali.
go ahead.
We talked about you using, the negativity and turn it into a positivity.
Yes.
And this is something I actually want people at home to do. If you're able to do this, I want Marcelo to do this, and I'm going to do this. We talk about 4 areas that drive people, right? We talk about advancement, getting a job, getting a promotion, getting a pay raise, advancing in your career, right? There's a person who wants individual recognition, right? You won the award, you're the man now, you won the Oscar, so to speak, right? There's a person who's driven by madness. You ain't gonna beat me. I'm gonna show you I'm the best. I'm gonna let you know what's up. Recognizing the competition of the situation. And then there's the person that's motivated by purpose. They want to help others. They want to make a change. They want to do something bigger or make an impact. Now, everyone has all 4 of those within them, but there's a certain one that people gravitate to. So, for instance, the individual who always wants to have a sick car, sick house, sick watch, that's an individual who is driven by recognition. They want that. Is it fair to say that the madness is probably your number one?
I would literally say purpose.
You would say because that's my number one.
That's
by far and away. Purpose is my number one.
Purpose, then achievement, then madness, then individual.
Really, Marcelo, what's yours?
I would say purpose, then madness.
Okay, so the reason that I brought this up is something we talk about here at Valuetainment is like what drives people, because you have to drive people in a different way.
I also find that some of this stuff I try to pull putting names and categories on stuff like this. I personally find that I pull back because I find it similar to horoscopes, where it's like everybody, it's true.
Yeah.
A little bit is true for everybody.
True. This isn't scientific.
It's like, why am I?
But ultimately, but there's people like Leo, for instance. He's our top sales guy. Leo is like, I am straight up madness.
Well, look at Kobe, dude.
Yeah.
Kobe was madness.
But
Kobe was full on madness.
But that's bullshit, dude. Kobe was history, enlightenment, impact, change. Kobe was lifestyle. Kobe was recognition.
But
Kobe was next promotion. Kobe was.
But what's motivation?
He was more competitive though.
Exactly.
100%.
He was more competitive.
He's the Black Mamba.
But so for you, Ali, I thought that you would be madness based on everything you just said, but using the negativity to throwing up the peace sign. What about a bigger purpose is it that motivates you?
The thing is, impact is the biggest thing to me. Like, I hate when I get slight. The slights, that's the thing. When people slight me, that's what. Then it goes from that to let me enlighten you, and then the history of me, and then I can change what you're doing, and then I'm gonna help. It's everything is about this purpose. Like, what was the purpose? How somebody looked like? Why did you look? What was I doing to make you look at me like that? Or like, it's all of this that's in purpose is me, and then I go to I'm achievement based because it goes right with purpose because the impact of like my cadence. Most comics in the southern region have my cadence, and then you add a lot of young comics who like this bothers me. In there's another thing that bothers me. Like it's really important to me when young comics that's just starting out. Man, who are your influences? And then they go to all these old people that they wasn't around. And that they never actually have a conversation with. And I'm sitting there thinking, this motherfucker just talked to me for 2 hours. And I've been there your whole entire career. I've helped you multiple times in your career, but your fucking influence is Richard Pryor or Jamie Foxx or somebody who's never been around. I'm like, damn. And then it starts to get to my head. Like, people, a lot of young comics that I've helped, and a lot of people I have, when they talk about comedy, they don't never mention me. It seems like because I'm not in LA or New York, you don't mention me. The same person that you called for help, but you don't mention me when you talk about the greatness of comedy. Like, what? Like, the reason why people, like, I hear people now talking about, well, I didn't move from my city because, I just wanted to do it. So you didn't hear me say that for the last 20 years, 24 years, in every interview I've ever said. Oh, okay. Wow. That's the shit that really, like, so man, what is the purpose of this? Like, I don't even think people understand when I'm performing, the audience has this arrogance, this thing I'm performing for them. They really think, they actually think in their brain that because you're benefiting from me performing, that it's actually for you.
Who is it really for?
The wait staff.
It's for the wait staff?
Yes.
Why is that?
Because this the things that I put in my head. If you're gonna do stand up for 24 years, you hear a lot of people talking about they burnt out, it's old, because they don't keep finding things to change their set, to change how they view it, to change what they do in stand up. So I used to be a madman. I used to get on stage and I would be running from here to there, flipping, doing everything.
While you were on stage, you were very eccentric.
All over the place. Then I came to standing in one place, relying on the words. Mm-hmm. Then I came from standing still in one place to sitting on the stool. Then from sitting on the stool to going to the chair. It's the progress. Every year I found something else to increase in and to get better in. And in order to do that, you have to keep, your material has to keep getting better and better in order to be transitioned to the chair. Mm-hmm.
Because your words matter more than your actions at that point.
And you can't rely on facial expression. I want to be able to do it in the dark. Like, and so that's why I have so many albums, because I like to paint the picture in your head. Like, when somebody is talking to me about a subject that I'm well versed in, I want you to smell it, taste it, be in the intensity of it, because then the story doesn't be good. So I've transitioned from telling jokes to just telling stories. I find something every year to challenge myself to get better in. So my initial challenge when I first came into the business, I wanted to make it out of Houston. I'm not moving anywhere. I'm going to make it from right here. So if that's what all I've said for 24 years, it's all when I came into the game, all I heard was go to LA, go to New York. Go to LA, go to New York.
I assume you hear the exact same thing.
Oh, I moved to New York.
Okay. Yeah.
From Miami. Everybody does it. Yeah.
All right.
Everybody does it but me.
Straight up. Ali Siddiq is a special case.
And so then when I did it, when they would see me on these shows, like, yo, he's still out of Houston?
Right.
I'm like, yeah. Mm-hmm. So
but let me ask you. You said this. You don't do this for the crowd. You don't do this for the audience. You do it for the wait staff.
Yes. So
go deeper on that.
Back to that. It's like, it's only two people. It's only two sets of people in the room working: the wait staff and me. Mm-hmm. Everybody else is there to enjoy the show.
Right.
If you say something funny enough that a person who has a section of people that they have to tend to, I got to bring drinks, I got to bring food, I got to get checks, but this motherfucker just said something so goddamn funny. But that's when the wait staff say, "Yo, man, you had a great show tonight."
Yeah.
That makes me so happy.
Because they're hearing so many different comics, and
it's like they working.
They're not even paying
working.
attention. It just pops in their head.
It's like that you working, and you have 40 people to bring food and drinks for. And if somebody in the middle of that, somebody complained about you ate the mushrooms, you like, man, this I know, goddamn.
I'm not worried about the shrimp scampi right now.
Shit, when he just said, "Ma'am, this shit is funny."
How are you processing all this?
And I think wait staff, and no matter where you are, wait staff or staff at wait staff at a club or staff at a theater, I agree with you. Like a civilian telling you that was funny, it can get old. But you know, somebody that works at a club, like at a comedy club. I did a club in Orlando and Tampa, and afterwards, one of the servers runs into the green room. He's like, "Yo, bro, I just want to say real quick, that shit was fire," and that is way better than
the wait staff.
Than like because that guy works at the club. Yeah. That guy watches his favorite comics there, or he just is working every night. He might not even be into the shit. He might just be working. That's why the laugh is so big. You're like, I appreciate that laugh. You might not even
working.
Let me ask you, because we got probably, 20 minutes left, and I want to get some.
It's like a prostitute saying, "That was funny what you said."
5 minutes left.
And we're gonna go a little longer than 5. We can go a little bit longer than 5, right? There's a couple things that's actually fucking hilarious,
and that's how funny that joke was.
Exactly. That's actually.
That was hysterical.
She's willing to delay her paycheck.
Being that you're a badass dude, right? You kind of G-checked us when we asked if you were the funniest guy in prison. So, message sense.
Funny how, Adam.
Funny like a clown.
Funny what?
But you're a great storyteller. The Mexican boots thing's ridiculous. Amazing. You're up on stage. You're doing your thing. Does anybody in the audience ever get lippy with you? Yeah. Talk shit with you?
Yeah, people do it all the time.
Okay, so obviously the Dave Chappelle thing is all over the news right now. Dave Chappelle kind of moved out of the way. Homie is not looking good, the guy that ran up on him. His face is on, clearly his arm is looking like... What would you do if someone ran up on you? And then part B to that is, why do things... Ice pick. You're just going to hit him with it?
I got an ice pick.
Just on you. You're going to ice pick him?
Don't even fucking hesitate.
Yeah. He just has the ice pick ready. Why do people feel so comfortable going up and talking to comedians? Comedians should be the truth tellers in society. They're supposed to offend you.
Nobody want to hear no truth no more.
Okay.
They want to hear. They want you to appease and stroke their egos. And man, this is going back to, I don't tell comics that they don't have it right now. I just tell them, hey man, and I feel horrible doing it too, because I would rather say, man, you need some work, but I just say, man, you was great, man, just because that's what you want to hear. It's
are you trying to hit him with the Jack Nicholson thing, like you can't handle the truth?
It's definitely.
Is that what the reason that people are attacking Chappelle on stage, or even the Will Smith thing? Is it the truth hurts? Is that where you're going with this?
It's different from everybody. It's not a blanketed thing, but the point is that comics are under attack for things that they say. Mm-hmm. Because you in a society where people don't want to hear the truth. One, think that there's no such thing as truth. Like we live in a society right now where opinion is right. Opinion is the facts.
Yeah.
And you ask somebody, opinion can never be the facts, but they think my opinion is the facts. So if that's the case, if your opinion is the facts, what does this? And people don't think their opinion can be wrong. So if that's the case, how does somebody say this? Hey man, I had the wrong opinion about you. How does that sentence happen then? If your sentence, if your opinion can't be wrong, and your opinions are the facts. Man, I've said so many things that people have gotten upset about because they have an opinion about things they have never thought about. If you walked up to me and asked me about what's the coin, Dogecoin, what
Bitcoin,
is it?
Dogecoin, where we go with
If
this?
you asked me about it, and I just immediately say, man, that shit. Have you ever heard about it? Nah, I'm just saying it's some shit.
Right.
Like, but if you don't know something about it, how can you make, like, where's all this information come from if you've never heard of it? I had to research Bitcoin. I bought some Bitcoin. I've never made $1 off Bitcoin. Like I made some money, then it was gone like the next day. Like so I was like, you know something. Now somebody asked me about Bitcoin. I'm like, that's some shit.
Yeah, right. And you have experience.
You're
to back
basically
it
saying
up.
there's a difference between facts and the stories you're telling yourselves. We literally did a whole class on this the other day, right, Tyler? Yeah. And that facts are not the same as your story. What they say is that, you know, facts don't care about your feelings. You're saying that everything is getting blended.
Right.
Everything is getting blended in today's society. It's, I don't think that. I think differently than that. And that's the way I think. But that's not the facts.
It does. Does alternative and natural mean the same thing?
No.
Does artificial and natural mean the same thing?
No.
So if somebody say they have 100% natural juice, can you say you have 100% artificial juice and it be the same? Like, one juice is from the grape and one juice is some grape drink. Like, it's not the same.
Purple
but
drink.
you want me to believe and you want me to accept artificial juice as natural juice. And you want to manufacture that content.
And it's because today, because of social media, anybody can make juice. Anybody can make juice.
Without no type of guidelines.
Yep, or gatekeeper.
Hey, man, this is not approved by anybody, but it works. How do you know it worked? Have you done some research? I just know this shit worked.
Post it on Twitter.
Okay, did you try? Where are the lab rats that you killed?
Introduce me
They're all fucking
to the rats.
I need a pile of dead rats.
Show us the
or
rats.
live rats that been. I need some type of data. However, let me see the charts. Let me see. Can you start a garden without knowing where the sun hits?
No, you can't, sir.
It's just the thing. But people want, hey, just put the garden box right there. Does it get any sun? I don't know.
Right.
But it will grow.
Right. And without, there's probably people that without even knowing this guy that tackled Dave Chappelle defended him. You know what I mean? Like, there's got to be people on both sides. Just
Well, the trans community. That's who's offending the most.
So he's a transgender guy.
I don't know if he is.
no, we don't know. We don't
he
know.
Was
We don't
he was
know.
actually a huge MAGA guy, Trump guy.
really the guy that tackled Trump.
Yeah.
Like,
I
that tackled,
gave him.
Chappelle?
I thought
Right?
it was.
That's what he said he was.
Yeah, no, he's got songs out about Trump. Like he was
Yeah.
a big Trump guy.
Big Trump guy.
I
Black
thought
guy.
he was I thought he was a gothic dude because I saw his nails was
I
painted
thought he was
black.
gothic dude too. He was also wearing like a Thrasher looking.
Yeah, so I thought he was
Let's
a gothic
find him
guy.
real quick. Any information on this? Oh, that's his name.
Yeah.
His name is what?
Isaiah Lee.
Isaiah Lee.
Now, Ali, what's your reaction?
That's him right there.
That's him. Yeah.
No,
That's him.
No,
That's the guy.
Really?
That's him.
That's the
yeah.
guy.
That's the guy.
That's the
the
guy.
He looks so
You just
different.
noticed him 'cause
Wow.
he was beat up all over the
He
Exactly.
looks darker. He looks darker skinned in the videos.
He's a kid.
In the
He's a
vi-
kid.
It,
Oh, no.
Nah.
21 years old.
That's
and
what he had.
That's what he had. It was a
on him,
fake
yep.
gun with
A knife on
with
the
a
end.
knife on the end.
Yep.
so how does he not get charged with assault?
Right.
Oh, he
And
will
they
be.
drop.
No,
They're
no, they're
not
They're not
charging him
charging him.
Why?
because it's fucking California. They don't charge nobody for shit.
Yeah. I don't know if it.
They're
I
not
think,
charging him.
Yeah.
They're not charging him for this, and the beating, and see, this is the thing that I when the Will Smith thing happened, I tried my best not to comment on it because I know everybody was giving a take,
Right.
and I said that Will Smith has just okayed all this emotional bull crap that young people and seem like older people have started drifting into, that I can just ramp myself up on my feelings and decide that I'm going to attack somebody for what they said. See, at the end of the day, Chris Rock is still a comic. And I was taking this upon, so comics are under attack for what they say. Okay. Are you offended by anything else that I said to somebody else that may have been offensive to somebody else? You only offended by anything that I say or any comic says could be offensive to somebody.
Of course.
So you taking a liberty to attack. When Will Smith did that at the Oscars, I said, wow, you just okayed it for every young cat out here that's dealing with his emotions that has a gun or a knife to say, this is what I can do this. I can attack for words. A lot of people will run into a situation where they will get hurt. Like this happened to me 2017. The people who, this is why, and I tell people this, and they know this in Houston, the people who ran up on me on stage filed assault on me afterwards to get some money. But they
ran up on you on stage.
Yeah.
Physically tried to assault you.
Mm-hmm.
And then I assume you roughed them up real good.
Yeah.
And they filed an assault charge on you.
Mm-hmm.
That's like, that reminds me of people like, you've heard these stories like someone broke into somebody's house and the person who
shot them
or beat the shit out of them, they got charged with battery or assault or whatever.
What's weird?
Yeah.
With the gun laws, like I live in Texas, everybody can have a gun.
Mm-hmm.
If somebody jumps your gate and they're in your backyard, you can't shoot them in your backyard. They have to be getting in the house. So that's how the people get charged. Like my daughter has a gun license, and I say, if somebody come to your house, you pop out. She's like, Daddy, that's not how it works. And she want to tell me the technical rules of it. I don't want to hear that shit. I'm
not trying to hear the technicalities.
I don't hear the technical. Just like.
But back to the Will Smith thing. You think that opened the floodgates for letting emotions get the best of you and do what you want. So this is just a symptom of a bigger problem.
This is a symptom of a huge problem to where it's sad. But because I know a lot of people are going to get hurt. Right. Because it's people, like I'm not dressing up no more. I wear things on stage that I can easily... Yeah, if it get tore up, I don't even care.
Hold on. So you're consciously making that decision. I'm rolling up in sweatsuit, sweatpants. Like I'm feeling good.
I wear nice stuff, but it's nothing that I'm.
No rings, no chains, it's not like nothing that can.
So
get
you're saying,
up,
but this is
off.
something you've been doing for a while.
Yeah.
So you're saying I'm expecting some shit to happen.
Ever since what?
2017. I've been
wow.
If you like, even when Steve Brown, when the dude attacked Steve Brown on stage,
I remember this.
All this shit is emotional bullshit that people.
It's a speech is violence shit.
Mm-hmm. Well, let me ask you this: is there anything a comedian should not be able to say?
No, you can be able to say whatever. And the only time I was taken aback one time when somebody said something that came out of nowhere. But if you in your performance,
yes.
I'm not offended by what you say in your performance. Man, I've heard every type of stand-up known to man. And I be sitting, sometimes I be sitting there like this, like what is he saying? Like I never really say the P word on stage. It just, I don't know why I don't like this word.
The P word that is also used for cats?
Yes, you can say a cat.
Okay.
Yeah. That put it
I'm trying to identify.
Do you disagree? Is there anything?
Yeah.
Is there anything that you think cannot be said on stage?
I agree with him, but I think that it depends on your generation, right? So Ali, in his group, his generation,
he's Gen X.
Whatever the.
No, I'm older than I'm 48.
See, I find that,
Gen X.
No, we wasn't. We wasn't. That X came after us.
I also find generations.
Oh, you're older than the millennials. You're Gen X.
No.
I think you got that backwards.
Yes. You're not a baby
to
boomer.
Marcelo.
The generation after baby boomers are Gen X, and then it goes millennial, and this guy's Gen Z. Believe me, gentlemen,
Again,
I know what you are.
You know the Gen
X, baby.
I don't never even think.
He does know.
I
about
know
the
what you are.
generations.
This is what I know. I know
generations.
He does know
for
about
a fact.
The
I know.
I think I'm part of the silent generation.
No, that would make you 127 years old.
You know, my Aunt Willa just passed. She was 106.
Wow.
Yeah.
She was the silent generation, brother.
Yeah, she definitely.
You're Gen X. I'm a millennial. This guy's Gen Z. Talk about Gen Z. What's going on with your generation, Marcelo?
Before we get there, I wish we would have kept naming generations.
Hold on.
Like
millennials is 82.
1981, yeah, give or take. Yes. You're born in 75. What year?
I don't even know. I didn't even hear the word millennial to 2000.
Bro,
That's
straight
true.
Straight up, number one. And number two, I think generations, again, is like horoscopes. I think it's all BS. I guess I understand
But it's not. That's the problem, is that it's not.
It's situational.
It's not.
It's situational.
All BS.
It's situational, but like nobody talks about the millennials are thinking this. Us as millennials,
Now, okay,
your generation
here's what
is
I'll tell you.
more subtle. Millennials are not a country.
Look, he's definitely
Correct.
serious. That he's done some.
No, he loves the
You see that?
generations.
You see, I'm not
I've
really
done my
saying
research
anything.
on this.
I'm just listening. Like
I've done-
I'm appalled that they would call me.
But
Like,
you know how you looked at me all like side-eyed and said, "Oh, you're the funny guy in jail." Test me on generations,
and
y'all.
I'm not
Test
saying,
me on generations.
I'm not saying nothing. I'm just sitting there like,
I'm gonna cat at you. I'm gonna get my ice pick out now.
I wish they would have kept.
You're motherfucking Gen Z. I'm telling you.
I know I'm Gen Z, but I wish they would have kept naming them by their personality traits. Y'all the greatest. Y'all silent. Y'all are babies. You know what I mean? Like I wish you would have just kept the baby generation.
I thought they was Y. I thought Y came after us.
Why is millennials? So here I'm gonna blow your mind right now, brother.
Okay,
I
give
blow
it
your
to me.
mind.
Give it to me.
Gen X. All right. Basically, they're born in the 70s, give or take.
Yes,
That's
born
you.
in the 70s.
Millennials born in the 80s, a little bit in the 90s. Gen Z born in the 90s. What comes after Gen Z?
Who cares?
What do you think? What do you think? If Gen X, if millennials are Gen
Generation
Y, and Gen Z, or the iGen is what this guy is, 24 years old.
Yeah.
What do you think comes after Gen Z?
Man, probably in the words of Trump, the Space Force.
That's the
It
next
actually-
generation.
Jedi.
You got an answer? You got an answer?
I'm with
I like Space Force as the answer for this one, yo.
The answer
What's that?
Oh
is
shit.
Alpha.
Oh wow.
A.
Great.
Alpha.
Because it starts over again.
Oh, wow.
This is the first generation that everyone was born after the year 2000. So it starts all over.
Right.
If you've got a kid, like
And
you've got a
know
baby
what's
that
so
was
funny?
born.
They made that decision
sure it ain't
without
Space
any
Force?
of us.
Listen, I'm letting y'all know.
No, I think that he was at the meeting.
He
Like,
was
yo,
there.
what? He's like,
He goes,
Here's
we
the deal,
went-
y'all.
So we went with
like, I think it should be A. Everybody after
2000. Let's restart it. It sounds so arbitrary.
Like, yeah, we
Thank
like
you.
It sounds so.
Adam Sauce over here created generations. Thanks, y'all.
It does sound like a.
Even though his name starts with A, had nothing to do with that.
Yeah.
He was like,
No,
That was
and
me.
the reason is so funny. They go, since we're at 2000,
Yeah.
and since nobody was born before that in this generation,
We're going to start over.
let's start
We're going with
that.
A.
Let's
A.
go to that. And now let me take you to the alphabet.
Yes.
how do you know so much?
I've done my research on this.
You done-
brother.
like-
I had my
Okay,
time to.
where does one start generational research? It's like
When I
you at a
when I
retirement
realized
home.
that I was the oldest millennial,
Right.
I was like, oh shit, I'm the oldest motherfucking millennial out there.
Oh, you like
Yeah.
right on the cusp?
80,
right.
82, 81, 80.
Yeah, 1981.
You was born in 81?
80. End of
Oh.
80.
So
yeah.
look, so he doesn't have a generation.
Nah, he right there.
I'm in the cusp.
So
I'm in
look,
the
you
cusp.
see-
But that's where it starts. But anyway, what
He's in between.
I don't want to. I'd be
Yeah.
remiss if I didn't ask you.
Oh, yeah, what was the
And
question?
I already know you're gonna say, I'm not the one that can speak for my entire generation. Don't
No.
label me. I already know you're gonna
Damn.
say that.
Do I sound
So-
like that?
A little bit. Yes. So I'm gonna give you this disclaimer.
Okay.
But Bill Maher,
Yeah.
I'm one of his big, like, that's my guy. I watch his political stuff. Now he's got a new podcast on. He has a bunch of random people, awesome people. He had Bella Thorne on. You know Bella Thorne? Pull her up real quick. She's a Gen Z hot little
Yeah.
tot type of thing.
A
You know.
little tot.
A hot little tot.
Yeah, exactly.
That's definitely from the silent generation. He's a hot
Anyway,
little
That's
tot.
what
he
they used
said
to say down
he
there.
started talking about
Generation
trans type
Y.
stuff and gay type stuff, and they didn't see eye to eye. And he goes, you know what? I'm just gonna come out and say it. You Gen Z, you kids, you're so freaking offended.
Yeah.
Why are you so offended?
Well,
and
yeah.
this is my question to you on behalf of Gen Z.
Yeah.
Because we started with, is there anything you cannot say?
Yeah.
Ali said no. Say whatever you want. You
Right.
said I agree with Ali, but you know my generation.
well, yeah.
So
Well,
what's wrong with the Gen Zs?
It's not what's wrong with the Gen Zs. Just saying what's wrong with the Gen Zs is what's wrong with the millennials.
Why are Gen Z so offended? I told you he was going to give this disclaimer.
I'll teach you something, right? Because it's always fun to like get the whole perspective of like these young kids, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's classic. But you're not a young kid, right?
Not anymore,
You're
no.
not. And you don't like that, right? That you're not a young kid. Everybody looks at the young kid like, you got all this, your knees work, you're running around. Like, there is a negativity already. Like, you're dumb, you think you know it all, whatever. So what's happening with Bella Thorne? Bella Thorne, the same way that in your generation, there are words that you can't say because you have friends that you went to school with or whatever. Whether it's, you know, like not words that you can't say, but you have things that you don't say that your generation doesn't say. Whether and I probably don't even know those words or those topics because y'all don't even really touch on it. Whatever, we have the same thing. So let's say a trans thing comes up, and my mom or my uncle, who has no experience with any trans people, goes, "These people are crazy, man. We don't even. Why would you even? When we were, you young people, I am." And it goes just like that. So for me, right, I hear this trans stuff. I'm not on Twitter. I'm not fighting for trans lives. I'm not, going crazy. I'm not an activist. But growing up, did I hear more about it than my parents did? Did I know a kid's little brother who became his little sister? Yeah. And he's 15, 16 years old, and the whole family's dealing with it, and it's serious. It's not like these people are crazy. No, it's serious. It's like, Luis wants to be Luisa. You know what I mean? And that's my little brother. So now he's Luisa, So like, I just dealt with certain things maybe a little more and maybe a little more directly. And also I grew up with social media. So maybe I saw way more than you saw when you were growing up because I saw a little bit of the whole spectrum. So do I feel like I can't say certain things? So I feel like I'm walking a tightrope? No. Do I agree that we need to say whatever we want? Sure. Do I think that my generation of comedians and people is not going to be as crazy about this free speech thing because we grew up seeing more people and having to be a little more accepting? Yes. My generation is not going to be like, going as hard as Bill Maher because my generation is already more accepting.
Your generation hasn't dealt with anything.
That's also true. I accept that as well. We're young.
This is the misnomer. We've been seeing trans people forever.
Right.
But the difference is it's tough. They were tougher people. Like,
that makes sense.
The gay people who I knew growing up that was fucking tough people. Like, we said whatever because you're artificial. You're doing something different. You have an alternative situation.
Right.
I can say something about your alternative situation.
Sure.
It's like you could say something about my natural state.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? But I didn't grow up with people that didn't have thick skin because my grandmother don't give a shit about you wanting to be whatever you want to be.
100%.
I'm going to say how I feel about it. Now, you can do whatever you want to do, but don't try to stop me from saying what I want to say about the shit.
Yeah.
Because explain to somebody that's 106 that you felt like you rather be Luisa than Luis. Man, what the fuck are you talking about?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, and what my problem always is with the gay community in general. Don't compare your plight to being black. That's a bunch of bullshit to me.
Right.
Because it's not 400 million gay people that was ever killed in no fucking slave trade.
Right.
What you do, or what you have a fucking choice on whatever you want to be and whatever you want to do to yourself in the course of that. Slaves didn't have a choice, so that's my only thing.
Right.
It's not, it's black people, you should understand. How the fuck should I understand?
Right.
How would I understand?
Yeah.
But you've been discriminated against before. Based on something that I cannot change.
Or control or hide,
I'm black. Wherever I go, I'm black. No matter what neighborhood I move into, I'm still black. And the whole thing is, I'm not even fucking black. I'm not black, I'm brown.
That's true.
But everywhere in the world, I'm perceived as black. And when you see me, you perceive me as something no matter what my status is. And what I have to do is navigate it. Whether I'm rich, I'm poor, I'm educated, I'm not educated, I I'm still viewed as the same. As the same person, if give you the scenario. Me and Tim Allen are not viewed the same. Same fucking case though. Same delivery case. What's the difference between Tim Allen and me? But you got the same delivery case. You went to jail for drugs. Now, during the crack era, everybody who was that was smoking crack was labeled as a criminal, and you was given time. Mm-hmm. So, what happens now? They've changed drug charges to making you like a patient, because they had a 3-strike rule. You get 3 strikes, then you got a mandatory this sentence. So many white kids were going to prison for pills, which is heroin, opium.
Yeah. Opioids, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's the same thing. It's the same ingredient. It's heroin. They changed the whole drug laws now to you damn near a patient. So, no. The pill epidemic is an epidemic, but the crack epidemic was not.
Right.
Because what's the difference? You had people who were snorting cocaine, who was white mainly, people doing crack, same drug. I'm gonna give you this sentence, and I'm gonna put you in as a patient. Then you go to the pills. Whatever you doing, meth and pills are considered. Hey man, you're an outpatient situation. It's not the same. So how do you keep comparing all these things that don't have the same thing? And then my cologne man is a gay dude. And I say whatever I want to say to Ken, and it's not Ken ain't like, I'm offended.
How old is Ken?
Ken like 50, 60 years old. He the cologne man for the whole barbershop.
That's what I was just gonna ask you. You got a cologne guy?
For the whole barbershop.
Okay,
He sells cologne to the whole entire barbershop.
Barbershop is a special place.
That is a special
I go to a
place.
barbershop in New York. Kenny Warren's barbershop. You know Kenny Warren.
What can you not say in the barbershop?
Nothing. The barbershop is a sacred place. But that's the thing, is what I'm saying is there's always gonna be those spots. I'm just saying that this young group, like, we had to experience the like an aggressive movement. We had to experience it on Twitter every day. We had to experience it on Instagram every day. So I think it's like the same way that people shouldn't come up to you and say, yo, you the funny guy in prison. Like,
but they wouldn't come up to me and say that because they don't know that. They don't know. Mm-hmm. I don't have funny guy written on, but they know I'm a comedian. I don't like.
Exactly.
I don't like this either. Hey, funny man. I don't like that shit either.
I agree.
Can you pull up this one story? I want to get this last story in before we go.
Yeah.
And I appreciate you guys telling me that.
Yeah.
You guys are finding some common ground here. Respect.
Yeah, I'm generation like take it, listen to it, and then think of how to react. This is my generation should be called is Generation Take It All In, really think about it, and then talk.
And y'all should be called a Generation Accepted. Like,
right.
That's what they tell
Pull
you.
up this
That's what they
millennial
telling
story.
us. They've been feeding that.
Accepted, but she is a hot little tot though.
She's a hot little tot. All right. I want to get this last story because I know that you got a heart out in about
hot
7-8 minutes.
Who said it? They should put a
I did. Hot little tot, Bella Thorne. So here's a story right here that I want to get your take on, and I'm gonna circle all this in for Ali to really take the stage here and kind of weigh in on really the deeper things in life. And one of the things I say, being a money guy, financial guy, there's a difference between needs and wants.
Yes.
All right, brother. And then, your financials, needs, wants, and then what you do with that after that. So this article right here, Business Insider, millennials say they'll never have enough money to get what they want in life. Here's a couple stats for you. 2 recessions later, millennials are feeling a financial burn. Nearly half, 45% of the generation, is very or completely concerned about their financial situation that will prevent them from having the things they want in life. Keyword want. 35%, compare that to just 33% of all adults, right? Not everyone's going to get what they want in life. So millennials have faced 2 recessions. They have obviously rising living costs right now, student debt. We all know what they're going through, and they worry that they're not going to reach the typical American dream. Ali Sadiq, you said when you were 16 years old, you had $400,000 in the trunk. right?
400 grand in the bank, and then he
In the
had
bank.
30,
Sorry.
30K
No, gotcha.
chunk at all times.
I never mentioned the bank. That would be false.
That would be
No,
false.
no,
I
Did
did,
you
I
know-
did not.
He had
have-
cash.
I'm talking about the
have-
proverbial
Gotcha.
bank.
Yes.
the
To your name.
the mattress.
Yeah, the mattress. It was
The
in the
metaphorical
mattress.
bank, the
To
mattress.
be exact. You end up going to jail. And now, you're Googleable, brother. You're doing all right. You got a million or two or three, whatever you got. You got some money in the bank or in the mattress. I don't know where you want to put it these days, but you got some money.
And you didn't move to LA. You didn't move to New York.
Chase Bank. He's a legitimate person. So ultimately what I'm getting at is, we're talking generations, we're talking philosophy, we're talking mentalities. I kind of want to circle this in. This is, at the end of the day, and we do talk money on this show.
Yeah.
I want to talk needs versus wants. You learned the hard way in prison for 6 years the difference between, I need this versus I want this. If you could speak to the millennial generation, I get that's hard to do. Explain your philosophies on money and how you differentiate between a need and a want.
You need shelter, food, and clothing. Those are the things that you need. You want your shelter to be a mansion. You want
Right.
You want your clothes to be all name brand, and you want your food to be at the finest of restaurants in life. You need to have a clean space, whether it's big or small, because if you live in New York, it's going to be small. If you live in Paris, it's going to be small. If you live in LA, it's going to be small and congested. If you want to eat in restaurants every day, which is a want, but you need to know how to cook. You need to know how to grow food, because it's a food shortage that's happening, that people don't understand. Most people that was in the pandemic, they went through the pandemic, and a lot of people starved because they didn't know how to prepare food, which was a weird thing to me. You live, and the clothing that people want. If you investing in clothes, Balenciagas tear up just like Nikes, just like the shoe that you can get in Academy. If you appropriate your needs and you save and you invest well, then you can get some of your wants in conjunction with your needs and still maintain and have money and have things. If you invest right and you look at it as, it's still the saying of I don't know what generation it comes from. You probably can tell me. Keeping up with the Joneses.
Yeah, that's been around for generations. Yeah, exactly.
So if you understand, first of all, who the hell are the Joneses?
They out there. They're out there.
It's actually they changed it now. It's Keeping Up with the Kardashians now. It's a big show.
True.
It's what you look at and put value in. I put value in my needs over my wants. I need for my family to be able to maintain for generations. That's a need for me. I need to be able to help my friends when they in a position. That's a big thing for me. I wouldn't, for you to call me and say, yo, Lee, I need $1,000, man, because of the situation. That's a big thing for me to be able to wire my friend money. And first of all, I'm gonna be all in your business. Tell me why you need $1,000 first, and then let's see how we can make that not happen again. And then, but I need to be able to be there for my people, versus wanting to shine on my people and look down on. A lot of millennials want to have something that you don't have. They need this one up on you, which is a weird thing, but that's a need. People need to feel like they're better. Mm-hmm. They want to feel like they're better. My need is to feel like we both surviving this world together. That's a need for me. I need to be in the same position as you.
Respect.
My neighbor, if you my neighbor, I need for you to have money. I need for you to, because we neighbors. And if you foreclose on your house, now I got to deal with him, the millennial.
The Gen Z. Get offensive.
Pulling up and all type of cars and bongs. Like, I don't want this neighbor. I want the settled guy over here. I don't want this.
He's really looking at you all sorts of sideways right now.
It's a great lesson on, your network is your net worth, and I think that's a great lesson too. Is if your apartment is small, Elise Sadiq is saying, clean it.
Keep it clean.
You know what I mean? Like, you don't need a huge place. You need a clean place.
You need a clean place.
You don't need Balenciagas. You need shoes. Do you know what I mean? Like,
you need shoes. You don't need to go to the finest restaurant, but you need to eat.
Straight up. You need to learn how to cook.
Know the difference between needs and wants. All right, we're wrapping up right now.
Yes.
Ali Sadiq, we've had a lot of fun, bro.
Yes.
My Gen X brother right here. my Gen Z over there.
I'm
the oldest millennial. The oldest millennial on the planet.
And to all my hot little tots out there.
Yeah, the hot little tots. Holler at me. Ali Sadiq, if you want to catch him, he'll be at the Dania Beach Improv this weekend.
Yes.
Right down the street here in Fort Lauderdale, South Florida. You're currently on tour. I believe we've added all the tour dates in the link below the description, below in the YouTube description. And on May 19th, in about less than 2 weeks, the Domino Effect. That's a special. Tell us about that. Tell us what we should know.
Oh, man. It's a special that I'm walking from 1983 on up to how I ended up being a street pharmaceutical rep, which is very frowned upon.
A street pharmaceutical rep.
Very frowned upon. Very, very frowned upon. Yeah, so it's a walk through my life with my family and how I actually didn't have to sell drugs. Mm-hmm. Like, I think that's the story that people never heard somebody that did it say, man, this is all peer pressure. This is all being in the wrong place around the wrong people and then accepting somebody else's ideology about, hey man, you need to hustle. Like, why? Because you want some better shoes. Like, I was fine with my shoes.
I had regular shoes on.
Do you see what these Balenciagas
will do? Where can they find you on socials? Marcelo, he's trying to dap you up, bro. Don't get ice picked.
Don't
get ice picked. That's the thing. And for all our friends out there, thank you for watching. No, I'm right here.
Are you sure?
Tamper down your emotions. Don't be running up on people on stages, all right? Because you never know how you'll end up. Like our friend Isaiah Lee over here and our other friend Ali over here. Yeah, exactly.
Damn.
Keep scrolling on that. Thank you guys for watching.
That's something Generation X doesn't do with Generation Millennials.
Thank you guys for watching the Soscast. As always, save that money. We'll see you guys in the next time. Peace out.
Generation A coming up. But that was